For pretty much all of human history, we've just been, well, at the mercy of the cosmos, right? Whatever it threw at us, we had to take it. But what happens when we start to fight back? That's what we're going to get into today. We're going to look at a celestial warning shot, a cosmic close call that was a massive wake-up call for just how vulnerable we really are. I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster, doesn't it? But here's the thing. This isn't science fiction. This is a very real question that our planet had to deal with just a few years back. Think about it. No time to send up a heroic mission, no time to even think about evacuating a city. All you can do is watch and wait. So let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with a pretty terrifying surprise. It was the summer of 2019, and something huge came hurtling out of a total blind spot in our cosmic surveillance network. It was, quite literally, a shot in the dark, and it came dangerously close to hitting its target. Okay, try to picture this. You've got an asteroid, big enough to obliterate an entire city, and it's screaming towards Earth at 55,000 miles per hour. And the kicker? It's completely invisible to us because it's coming from the direction of the sun. It wasn't until July 24th that anyone even saw it, and that was just one day before it zipped past us. By the time we spotted it, it was basically already here. And this is how close it was, 45,000 miles. Now, that might sound like a lot, but in the vastness of space, that's nothing. It's basically a graze. We're talking a cosmic hair's breadth between a totally normal Thursday and a catastrophic, world-changing impact. So to put that into perspective for you, 45,000 miles is less than 1/5 of the way to the moon. I mean, the moon is our closest neighbor, and this thing flew right inside that bubble. It passed within the orbits of some of our most critical satellites. So yeah, this wasn't just some little near miss. This was a massive, sobering wake-up call. Which brings up the big question, right? How could this even happen? How does a rock the size of a skyscraper just sneak up on us like that? Well, it turns out we've got a pretty serious blind spot in our whole planetary defense setup. And here's the culprit, the sun's glare. Think about it, most of our telescopes on the ground, they're looking out into the dark away from the sun. So an asteroid coming in from the direction of the sun, it's like trying to see a tiny moth flying at you right out of a giant spotlight. You just can't see it until it's right on top of you. And that's exactly what happened. 2019 OK was hiding in that line spot for weeks. And this really highlights a critical gap in our defenses. We've actually gotten really, really good at finding the gigantic ones, the planet killers, the ones that caused the dinosaur extinction. We found over 90% of those. We're safe from them for now. But these city killers, the ones like 2019 OK, that's a whole different story. We found less than half of them. That means there are literally thousands still out there, totally undiscovered. Just look at that chart. That huge slice of unknown basically means we're playing a cosmic game of blind man's bluff every single day. And 2019 OK, it came right out of that uncharted territory. The real question is, where's the next one coming from? But what if we do see one coming? Not with just a few days' notice, but with decades to prepare. Well, that's where this story takes a turn, moving away from the chaos of a surprise attack to the incredible power of calculation. So let's do a little comparison. Let's take our surprise visitor, 2019 OK, and put it side by side with another famous asteroid called Apophis. The single biggest difference? Warning time. We're talking days versus decades. And that one thing, it changes everything. It turns what could be a terrifying vulnerability into an absolutely massive scientific opportunity. See, when Apophis was first spotted back in 2004, the first pass calculations were, well, they were genuinely alarming. At one point, it was thought to have a 2.7% chance of hitting Earth. Now, that might not sound like much, but for an asteroid of this size, that is an incredibly high risk. It was so serious it earned the ominous name God of Chaos and got the highest rating ever on the official impact hazard scale. And here's the wild part. When Apophis does its flyby in 2029, it's going to pass us at just 19,600 miles away. Let that sink in. That's more than twice as close as 2019 OK was. It's going to fly closer than some of our own satellites. But, and this is the crucial part, because we've had decades to watch it, to track its orbit precisely, we know for a fact that it's going to miss. And that is the power of early detection. What was once a threat has been totally transformed into a spectacle. On April 13th, 2029, billions of people will be able to look up and see Apophis with their own eyes. It'll look like a little point of light moving quickly across the night sky. A potential catastrophe has become a global celestial event and an absolute goldmine for scientists. So these close calls, they didn't just scare us, they spurred us into action. And that brings us to, honestly, the most empowering part of this whole story. The moment humanity decided to stop being a passive target and actually start fighting back. I'm talking about the DART mission. This was truly a landmark moment in human history. In 2022, NASA flew a spacecraft millions of miles through space and intentionally slammed it into an asteroid. And the incredible thing, it worked. It actually worked. For the very first time, we proved that we can physically change the path of something in space. We now have a viable way to defend our planet. Just let that sink in for a second. This quote right here really captures how big of a deal this is. For 4.5 billion years, life on this planet has been completely at the mercy of the cosmos. With the DART mission, we took the first real step towards seizing control of our own planetary destiny. So, okay, we have the technology to nudge an asteroid out of the way. Problem solved, right? We can all relax? Well, not quite. See, having the tool is one thing, but having a plan and being ready to use it, that's something else entirely. Are we really ready for the next one? You see, our biggest hurdles now aren't just about the technology. They're about organization. They're political. Our system for detecting asteroids is kind of a patchwork of different efforts. It's not one big, unified system. Funding can be a real challenge, and maybe the biggest question of all. If we found one on a collision course, who actually makes the call to do something? Who's in charge of coordinating the global response? These are huge questions we still don't have answers for.
And that's the ultimate challenge, isn't it? An asteroid threat doesn't care about our borders. It's the one problem that makes all our divisions down here on Earth seem pretty meaningless. It's a problem for all of humanity, and it's going to demand a truly global solution. You could say it's a fundamental test of our species' maturity. Can we actually work together to survive?
So we kind of end up right back where we started. 2019 OK was a serious warning shot. It was a reminder that the universe is a dynamic and sometimes hostile place. We've now proven that we have the smarts to build the technology to protect ourselves. But the question that's left hanging is, will we build the systems, the global alliances, and have the collective will to actually be ready when we need to be? Because the next time one comes screaming out of the sun's glare, our future might literally depend not on luck, but on the choices we're making right now.